Welcome to part 1 of the Coffeehouse tour, an 8-part audio adventure exploring how a bitter black drink transformed the face of the capital forever. The complete 8-part tour is designed to be taken on location on the streets of London. But in the weeks ahead, we are releasing each new episode on our website, where you can download it as a picture podcast or simply watch it online. So, wherever you are, sit back, hold tight, and be plunged into the caffeinated world of 17th century London. You're standing outside St Michael's Church, in the heart of the City of London. Rebuilt by Sir Christopher Wren after the Great Fire, it stands on one of the earliest sites of Christian worship in Britain, hailing from Roman times. Once a lone figure surrounded by open fields, by the time of Samuel Pepys, the church had been gobbled up by the swelling metropolis. Cornhill, behind us, was then one of the city's busiest thoroughfares, a lethal soup of mud, dray carts, coaches, and traffic-dodging pedestrians. There was no pavement to speak of. No longer the focal point of a medieval village community, St Michael's now catered for the spiritual needs of a dense urban parish, one under the sway of Puritan zealots. But in 1652, a very different kind of caterer sprung up against the wall of St Michael's churchyard. His name was Pasqua Roseé. Pasqua was an eccentric and rambunctious Greek who had sailed to London from Turkey on a coffee crusade, and it began in St Michael's churchyard. For many citizens, it seemed as though an alien had landed on sacred soil, intending to drug people with his diabolical concoctions. But you can decide for yourself. Pasqua is down there, in the alley. He'd like to meet you.
Walk into St Michael's Alley.
Have you tried it before, sir?
Never. I first heard news of it on St Paul's Walk this morning.
They say it sharpens the mind and soothes the soul.
'Tis true, they do. But dare we sip from the dish of the devil?
Make your way to the blue plaque on the wall of the Jamaica Tavern ahead.
Roll up, free coffee. A bit of blackberry of the East. Immortality in a dish. Drink it down like a fish, down your gullet. Free coffee wanted, wait in line.
Place your hand on the blue plaque bearing the name of Pasqua Roseé. Go on. Press it.
Hello, my friend. Are you here to try my new drug? To hurl a bolt of lightning down your gullet? To become a philosopher once again? Allow me to introduce myself. Pasqua Roseé, King of Coffee.
Maybe don't shake his hand. That custom hasn't been invented yet.
Oh, yes, my friend. Formerly a servant to a British merchant in Smyrna, now proprietor of London's greatest and only coffee house. Will you take a bow with me?
Walk forwards to the point where St Michael Alley meets Castle Court.
I'm sorry. I mean, English no good. Sorry. Oh.
Interesting accent, wouldn't you say? Pasqua was born in Sicily, but was in fact of Greek descent. He spent most of his life working for English merchants in Smyrna, Turkey.
You want to go into my coffee house? You'll have to find it first. Just look for the sign of the Turk's head swaying in the wind above my coffee house.
Look back towards the Jamaica Tavern. It was built in 1880 on the site of its predecessor, the Jamaica Coffeehouse, which was thought to have stood on the same spot as Pasqua's coffee house. But no one knows for sure. It probably stood in a variety of places, all over the churchyard. It wasn't really a house, you see, but a shack, a mobile coffee shack. And as such, Pasqua was free to wheel it wherever he pleased.
Ha ha ha! Now you see it? No, you don't.
Here, to our left, is a rare example of an independent craftsman still operating his tiny shop from the heart of the city. Look at all the jewellery. Can you see the frogs taking tea?
Taking tea? What? Doesn't he realize? They should be drinking coffee, nothing but coffee.
Walk over to the other side of the window.
300 years ago, small shops like these were the lifeblood of the City of London. Now they're just flotsam bobbing about in a sea of finance, banking and high street brands. Rare as his golden giraffes. Don't stare too long. 2 years ago, Mr. Haynes had a sawn-off shotgun held to his throat in a brutal heist.
This is a gun.
Hands where I can see
There's a
'em!
gun to your
On
throat.
your head!
The staff are understandably jittery.
Walk away from the jewellery shop down Castle Court.
Jittery is not a word one would associate with the customers of the George and Vulture Tavern on our left. It was here when Pasqua set up shop, or rather shack, in 1652. Now look up, into the sky. It wouldn't have been so visible when Pasqua opened his business. Back then, these were overhanging streets. The upper stories of buildings cascaded into one another, forming a tunnel that blocked out the light and protected customers' heads from foul weather. It was dark. Lanterns like these were needed to light up the way.
Keep walking down Castle Court towards Birchin Lane.
Relations between Pasqua and the local tavern and alehouse keepers were frosty at best. Pasqua liked to portray his bitter black drink as an antidote to alcohol, a cure for boisterousness, banter and bawdiness, and a catalyst for pure thought, civility and wit.
When the sweet poison of the treacherous grape had acted on the world a general rape.
Turn left onto Birchin Lane. Take the first left down Bengal Court.
Then heaven, in pity, to effect our cure, first sent amongst us this all-healing berry, at once to make us both sober and merry.
In reality, they were like yin and yang, coffee and alcohol. Identical opposites. That's it, left down here. Feel how the alley swallows up the light. Many of the alleys and streets around St Michael's churchyard were too narrow to allow traffic to pass. That's something that gave the district a more tranquil feel than other parts of the city. Although Pasqua thought places like this, the George and Vulture again on our left, shattered it. Let's pause here a moment by the window.
See them all swigging their ale, spitting in each other's faces, pigs in the mud. But my coffee, it would sort them out, make philosophers out of swine.
The owner of the George and Vulture Tavern wasn't too thrilled with this kind of propaganda emanating from the mouth of the upstart Turk, as everyone assumed he was. He joined forces with the beleaguered alehouse and tavern keepers of Cornhill. Together, they plotted the downfall of the alien across the alley.
Walk forwards into George Yard.
And so here we are in George Yard, once a hub of shoemakers and buckle makers, now the home of moneymakers, a Delphi capital. Look at the curious concrete structures in front of us. Note how they almost resemble coffee cups or coffee dishes, as though echoing the area's history.
Turn left back into St Michael's Alley. Follow the black railings along until you are in the middle of the alley and have a good view of the churchyard.
Today, the alley is an oasis of calm away from the roar of Cornhill, a pleasant but unremarkable patch. Save for the city workers who sneak away to the Jamaica Tavern for a lunchtime pint, it feels deserted, especially at weekends. Let's lean against this wall here, where the two white squares are. Today, the alley doesn't have a single resident to its name. It feels forgotten and anonymous. Of course, this wasn't always the case. In the 1650s, we'd be leaning against a row of timber frame houses, whose upper floors jutted out into the alleyway, shielding our heads from the elements, if not the contents of bedpans. In front of us, where the black railings now stand, there was once a thick stone wall guarding the cloister and gardens of St Michael's churchyard. Against this wall stood a parade of wooden stalls selling a range of products.
Gin! Wash it down your throat whilst the Puritans aren't looking. Gin, 3 halfpennies a bottle. Finest belt buckles in Christendom. Now buckle up, stand straight, tall and proud. Belt buckles, shiny ones, small ones, lovely little jewel ones, little belt buckles. The best buckles you can find. You won't find them anywhere else. Only here, my stall. Finest belt buckles outside the Islamic territory.
Walk over to the tavern at number 7 St Michael's Alley.
Before long, the jealous owners of taverns like these could only look on in despair as Pasqua sold over 600 dishes of coffee a day. With his flamboyant appearance and comical accent, he became a local celebrity, his stool a magnet for curious Londoners.
My friend, have you found it yet? It's this way, on the edge of the churchyard.
Walk over to the tree ahead, opposite the railings. Then face the entrance to the churchyard gardens. Can you see Pasqua's shack? Look down onto the screen of your phone.
This wooden awning here shields my customers from the worst excesses of your miserable English weather, as they huddle together to drink, think, write, pipe, gossip, and jest. It doubles up as a shutter at night. And what do you make of this counter? I had it decorated in the most garish of Islamic colors. A splash of color in your grey and dreary city.
What news have you?
Don't be fooled by appearances. It was a shack that would transform the face of the city forever. A shack that would revolutionize the daily lives of Londoners. A shack where ideas intersected and coalesced into something greater. The stock exchange, the insurance industry, auctioneering, professional journalism, scientific discovery, the force of public opinion, democracy itself, all can, in some way, be traced back to the shack which once stood here in this churchyard. Not bad for a high-risk and possibly illegal enterprise, operated from a flimsy shed by a man with a ridiculous accent. But the success of the Coffeehouse was by no means inevitable. Pasqua encountered the opposition of one of the wealthiest, most powerful, and uncompromising forces in the entire realm, the Church.